Okay, so I'm going to do puzzle 10 and 11. I'm going to just describe them now. And then I'm going to, when the horses are in, because they're not in, I'm not done setting up the stalls and getting ready to bring them in. So I'm just going to describe what I'm going to have them do. And hopefully I have success with 1, 2, or 5 horses. I'm not sure how many of them I'll get through the puzzles with, because there's some parts of it that might be confusing to my horses and will have to be taught. But in that case, you'll still get to see what that looks like. Okay, so I'm going to go describe this particular puzzle, and then maybe I'll push pause and set up the next one. So ready? Let's go. Oh, and by the way, this is my barn attire. I'm not doing this to impress you, but my name is Kirsten Reister, and this is Positive Way Horsemanship, and these are puzzles with PWH. Okay, so I will stand on the mounting block. Now, my horses all have mounting block cues, meaning they see me climb up on a mounting block, automatically triggers their idea that I need to come and put the saddle position in front of her. So it's a test of your communication and their willingness to actually wait for instructions in case it's not just what they assume. So this helps horses learn not to assume. I do a lot of stuff, a lot of puzzles from a mounting block just for that reason. So that way, yes, if I want you here, I strike a pose. That's what I call, when you call the horse to a mounting block. I stomp is my call. So if I put my mounting block out in the middle of my field and I stomp up onto a mounting block, that's my call. That's say, hey, you over there, gonna want you to come over here and do something with this mounting block. When I want them to actually over to me, I call it strike a pose. It's either just this means come over to me or snapping my fingers, or the word over. So they kind of have several cues to mean the same thing, but none of those mean anything else. Okay, so that's kind of like, it's different from what I always tell people is like your words can't have multiple meanings. Like if you kiss to go forward and you kiss to go backward, and you're trying to get your horse on a trailer, and he only got halfway, and kiss means go forward, and kiss means go backward, which one do you think he's going to do from that halfway position if he thinks it means either or? He's going to pick the one that benefits him the most, and he's going to back out of the trailer. So that's one word or cue that has multiple meanings to the horse. I give my horse multiple words for the same meaning, but I never make my horse guess what each word means. So like this never means anything but come over to me, ever. The word over never means anything but bring your body towards me. Stomping on the mounting block doesn't mean anything but I'm expecting you to come meet me here, okay? But if I stomped on the mounting block and I said, oh no, what are you doing? Stay over there. Now that wouldn't be fair, right? This was supposed to mean go away. So you got to kind of like, I always say that the word has to have the same definition every time if you want to have a really good relationship with your horse, because your horse is going to learn to trust that what you do ask of him makes sense. And they don't have a whole lot of time wondering, it's a kiss. Does it mean go forward? Or does it mean go back? Not really sure which one I should do. And often, when they choose the wrong one, we overreact to their mistake. But it wasn't their mistake. You know what I mean? But often we're like, no, I didn't say go back. So I'm just trying to help people like realize how hard we are on our horses, and it's our fault. And really, it's just a clarity of language. And if we could just be clear, our horses will do anything for us. So this puzzle in particular, my horse is going to be standing here. Now, he may be like, ooh, I should come over to you. You're up on the mounting block. So now it's a matter of me giving enough energy, enough down energy. And one of the things I described as down energy is how to drain your energy. It's like a kid who's kind of like following mom around the island in the kitchen, like, oh, come on, mom, can I stay up? I just want to stay up this show. Oh, come on, just another hour, please. You know, and the kid's kind of like almost wiggling in his own pants, right? And then when mom says no, fine, right? The kid drains every bit of his enthusiasm, every bit of his energy right out of his body because he's been defeated, he's disappointed. Fine. So that's how I want people to kind of perceive the difference between I'm active and I'm telling you to do something and you are released. It's over. You don't have to do anything else. No further instructions. But as long as my body is alive, my horses know to look for further instructions. They're not done yet. Okay. So when my horse is standing here, I'm going to drain my body so my horse knows that just standing here is all I'm asking for. Then I'm going to come alive. I'm going to send my horse through these two poles, over to this pole. I'm going to stop his front feet, or her. I have a mare. Stop the front feet just before the pole, and I have to somehow convince my horse that it knows to swing its tail all the way to point to that wall. Okay? Now that's going to be tricky because it's kind of a away and over. But maybe if I give enough energy, the horse will understand spin the tail until I give it something else to do. Down this pole, I want him to go sideways. Now, I have to give him the impression that I'm looking out and around them to get that hind end to stay on a sideways path, right? Because if I don't, I could just send the horse down the pole on an angle. I don't want to do that. I want my horse to come down that pole sideways. So I have to get all my energy directed towards that tail somehow and get them believing that they're supposed to come down this pole. My energy is all about pushing that outside piece of that horse, okay? The only other option that I would have is to over the horse, which could be I could snap like this and controlling the front end. So I control the front end by keeping a little wiggle on the line. If they leak forward in any way, it's but don't go forward. Okay, I don't mean to be rude. If it comes across rude sometimes to my horse, it's just an interruption, but don't go forward. And I may choose instead, depending on which horse it is, to allow them to come to my hand. So it's either a draw or a drive. Either I'm going to draw them down the pole with this hand, or I'm going to drive them down the pole with my body. My body is move it, okay? When they get here, I'm going to ask them to swing their tail away, so the tail's facing that way. I'm going to send them through between these two poles. Same thing on this pole, down this pole, right? They're going to come swing the tail to that wall, side pass down this pole. Again, it can either be where I give enough energy to push that body out and then down, or get the tail out and then call it, okay? So either push away or call it, draw, okay? Once they get to here, I'm going to send their tail to the wall. I hope I remember this. Send the tail to the wall, send them through right here again. This time, I'm going to ask them to just pass this pole here. Not far, just a little bit. So I'm not going to go crazy sending the tail away because I really want them parallel to me, perpendicular to me actually. And then I'm going to call their whole body sideways to me right here. So that would be where you strike a pose. That will be, I might even, that's their call. They know it involves a mounting block this time. They can put the pieces together and recognize they've been doing all this sideways stuff. Oh, yeah, and I have to go to the mounting block. And then I'm going to call that done for that puzzle. I may have to reference this to just remember what I said I was going to do, but hopefully I'll remember it. In fact, I'm not going to design the next puzzle because I'm going to forget if I take this one apart, what I meant to do. Not that it's a lot, but I'll just forget my vision. Speaking of visions, it's kind of weird to say, and a lot of people don't really get it, and that's okay. But if you visualize what you want to see, if I visualize my horse going down this pole sideways, and I don't make it like about all the mechanics, and I actually visualize what my horse would look like traveling down that pole sideways, I can assist my horse with that image. The image I have in my mind is an image that they can actually find. You know, like it seems like sometimes horses like read people's minds. It's really that, to be honest with you. But what people tend to do is they tend to get focused on the mechanics of something. You know, oh, I gotta move. So you're not thinking the whole picture. You're thinking of like, I gotta move that, or you're thinking way done, like already off the pole, and the horse never got the actual vision of what he's supposed to do here. So I like people to really spend some time saying, I see my horse going through here, being sent there, stopping there, tail go away. I'm looking at the wall. Like I see my horse's tail swinging towards the wall. This is my vision. Now I see my, which would work better for me, depending on the horse. I could send away and see if my body language can say, you know, like part of me is drawing, right? And part of me is going to push. Or I may choose to change my body completely and just draw them completely. So, see, I don't know if you, like, I'm not wearing tight enough clothes to show that, but this would be send them down, and this would be draw them to, okay? Even more leaning back. I'm visualizing spinning their tail. I see my horse in my vision. I see my horse right here, right now, with his tail down there. Send him through, stop him, see his tail. I just watched my horse. And by doing that, you're helping your horse go, oh, I see your vision. That's why, like, I can take somebody's horse that I've never even met and do this puzzle. Because I can give them my vision. And they can go, oh, yeah, that seems like a pretty cool idea. I'll try that. I don't usually have too much trouble projecting to a horse that doesn't even know me what I want from them. So just try it. Just try it. Like one of the things that I've done where I tell people, like a horse on a circle, when I teach my horses to put their head down on a circle, I'll visualize, like when they pass that cone, I want them to lower their head to the ground. And 7 out of 10 times, that's where the first place they're going to put their head down. Out of all the whole circle, that will be the first place. Then I'll visualize it someplace else. Then I'll visualize it someplace else. Then I'll visualize it, and I'll just keep moving my points. And when I move, this is all visual though. I'm not setting up cones for them. Put your head down there. Put your head down there. I'm visualizing it. I have just about every horse I own. When I say head down, boom, their head's down, and that's how I taught them. And it was all like when I used to teach it years ago. Now I teach it with a little bit of a cue up close. But when I used to teach it, it used to be just relying on the horse, looking for something else, like sending them out in the circle and just waiting until they, on their own, lower their head. When they lower their head, I stop them, release them, tell them they did a great job. Let them lower their head. Let them stand and blow out, whatever. Send them back out on the circle. The next time they lower their head, awesome. And before you know it, they're looking for that opportunity to get released off that circle again. So they're just going to keep trying to find it, right? And then you take up the game. So, okay, they lowered their head from here to here. Great, now I'm going to release them. Then maybe next time they have to go from here to here before I release them. Or from here to here, just so we can fill in that gap before I release them. And before you know it, they get it. It's the whole circle. How are they going to learn that? Like, seriously, how? Without doing it by imagery, or I do have another way to teach it now, but I did it all by imagery in the past. And it took a long time, but they always got it. I've never had a horse that didn't get it. Okay, so I got some work to do before we're going to do these puzzles. And I'm really excited that I'm going to post this first. And hopefully it'll get up and you can see what it is first. And then we'll bring horses in. They're outside still, and I'm going to bring them in, let them have their grain. Lately, I've just been pulling them away before they've consumed all their hay, so they have something to look forward to when they go back. But I have a little work still to do in here before I can bring them in. So, okay, cool.